Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome into the channel. My name is Brett with Invested on the Go. Today we're covering all of my dividend income for May 2026 based on our $364,000 portfolio. So I do want to go ahead and cover four areas fairly quickly. Number one, we're going to be jumping into our Robinhood dashboard, taking a look at the equity at the beginning of the month versus the end, our performance on the month, and our positions and shares. Then number two, we're going to be diving into the buys that we did this month. What did we buy? How much equity did we invest? Number three, based on our investment this month, how much did we increase our monthly and annual income based off our buys that we performed? So at the beginning of the month, we had a certain amount of dividends versus at the end of the month. So how much did we increase our monthly income and our yearly income? And then number four, how much did we receive in dividends this month? This is definitely our largest amount of capital that we received in dividends in a single month. So we're going to go ahead and cover all of that in today's video. If you guys are brand new here to the channel, I would really appreciate if you go down below, smash that subscribe, smash that thumbs up, drop me a comment down below if you've received any dividends or are planning on buying any specific stocks. Just let me know down in the comment section below. Also, in the comment section, there's a pinned comment. Check it out. You guys can get some free goodies over at SoFi and Robinhood, or join the Discord server. It's completely free. Okay, with that said, let's go ahead and jump into Robinhood portfolio overview. So, hopping into Robinhood, we're sitting at $364,435. Now, on a 1 month basis, we can see the performance here. We are up a solid 5.92% this month. That increased our equity within this portfolio by $20,362. And at the beginning of this month, we can see that our portfolio was sitting at roughly $344,000. Everybody who's thinking, hey, this is it, we're at all-time highs, we're not going to move any higher. Every time that the market pulled back, people were, comments out there, we're going to sell, this is it. It pulled, went up even more, then it pulled back, then it went up even more. And guess what? On my birthday, it actually pulled back the most, within a while, right? It pulled back a good amount. That was on a Tuesday, I believe. And then just continued to move higher on Friday, closing at all-time highs, bringing our portfolio to a solid 364,000. Now, our positions here, this is an individual account. It's designed to generate capital. If you guys are unfamiliar, this is a covered call style portfolio. It generates dividends on a monthly basis. Those dividends get paid out to us. They pay down our mortgage, our car, our credit card, and then any excess that we have gets reinvested back into the stock market, buying up other positions or reinvested into our current positions. We own T-SPY, which tracks the S&P 500. We have 4,120 shares. We have TDAC, which tracks the NASDAQ 100. We have 4,118 shares. We have IWMI, which tracks the Russell 2000. We have 2,082 shares. IAUI, this tracks the gold. This is the NEOS Gold High Income Fund. BTCI tracks Bitcoin, and it also pays out some income. XQQQI is the NEOS 30% leverage NASDAQ fund. And then we have XSPY, which is the NEOS SPY 30% leverage S&P 500 fund. So those are all of our holdings within our position, and these are very small. I kept these kind of small within the portfolio because I'm still testing these out. They have a higher expense ratio. Their total return in comparison to my current T-SPY and TDAX still has to be kind of tinkered out here overall, but in general, I'm really happy with my portfolio. It's doing exactly what it needs to do. It is continuing to grow and appreciate while being able to pay out a good amount of dividends, which is able to pay down my living expenses. So a couple items here I do want to make a note of. We are using margin at the moment. We are using about $1,000 of margin, and I do have plans, big plans going into June 2026 to invest a lot more margin. But we are going to have a whole video on how much I'm going to invest in the market, where I'm going to be pushing that market, that money to, and our safety nets, whether the market moves higher or lower. We have a plan of action. So definitely subscribe and stay tuned for that. Now, in terms of our margin here, we are subscribed to Robinhood Gold. We get $1,000 of margin interest free. So that is our Robinhood portfolio as of now. Now let's jump into number two, our May buys. So jumping into our stock journal, it's kind of the easiest way to go into this. Okay, so at the beginning of the month, I went ahead and began buying into the Neos leverage funds. I picked up SPY accidentally and sold it off the next day. I started by buying XQQQI and XSPY. These are the Neos leverage funds. I picked up a small amount right here within the, little bit, $250 or so a piece. Then we really started averaging into my TDAC position. I picked up 132 shares of TDAC. I really wanted to bump that up over that $4,100 threshold. I also picked up 19.426888 shares of T-SPY. I needed that fractional share to bring up my other fractional share to a whole share, so that's why I did that. Then I continued to buy TDAC, and then the gold covered call ETF. Those are all my buys that I did this month. Now, how much did I spend this month in the market buying into all of my positions? So we invested here $6,257.58 into the market. Now, you might be asking, where did you get $6,000 to invest into the stock market in May? And I have the answer for you. If we go ahead and bring up the screenshot, you guys will remember that at the beginning of May, I had a plan. I had transferred my portfolio from Fidelity to Robinhood. I had $6,275 of cash burning a hole in my pocket, losing value to inflation. And while sure, sitting in cash, it's making that 3.3% APY, but it's nowhere near what the market would get it. So I made a plan at the beginning of May that I just wanted to inject it into the market. I wasn't sure if I wanted to inject it all at once or dollar cost average. I did do a big injection early on here. You can see on the 11th of May, that was that big injection of $3,700. But by the end of it, I invested that 62.57 versus that bonus of 62.75. So I am a little short here, roughly $15 short. But that is fine. We can see here the majority of our bonus was invested. I didn't transfer it, burn it doing something crazy. I just went ahead and invested it into the stock market. And that's where we got the equity to invest. So that is what we purchased with our number two, jumping into our dividends at the start versus dividends at the end of the month. So for that, we'll dive into our dividend portfolio. Now, like I said, we started off this month back in May by buying XQQQI and XSPY. These were new positions that we bought at the beginning of the month. So at the beginning of the month, I was estimated to make monthly $4,417.65. Now, throughout the month of May, I invested that $6,200. That increased my monthly income to $44.93.50. So the difference there between $44.17 and $44.93 is roughly $75. I'll have the math here on the screen. Now, 75 times 12, that's roughly $920, $915-ish. We can actually do the math here. If we take all our yearly incomes and grab them all, so $910 is how much we increase our annual income going forward by buying up these shares this month. So I didn't take this $6,000 and just go out and spend it. I invested it into the stock market, and it is appreciating for me in the market, but it is also increasing our annual income going forward by $910. So within the next year, I'll make back roughly 1/6 of the investment that I made. And at the beginning of the month, we can see here that our annual income at the beginning of May was $51,585.50. By the very end of May, our annual income had increased to $52,495.74. That's a little bit different than what this is estimating at. I'll have to go through and see why my numbers are a little off versus, why these numbers are a little off versus these numbers. But it's okay. I will mess with that later. Either way, I'll go ahead and put up the estimates here at the beginning of the month versus the end of the month. And then the difference that, we saw about $910 was the annual difference. Okay, so that's how the capital affected our portfolio going forward. Now, last and final area, how much dividends did we receive in May 2026? It was the largest amount of dividends that we've ever received for a single month. So for that, we'll jump into our dividends tab. Jumping into the dividends tab, everything started very strong at the beginning of May. On the 6th, we were paid out a whopping $1,201.88 from T-Spy. It continued on a little bit later. On the 20th of May, we were paid out another big whopping $1,574.59 from TDAC. This is the NASDAQ equivalent. Then it continued on the 22nd from that Neos Bitcoin BTCI. We were paid out $238.02, and then continued with the Russell 2000. This is IWMI on the 22nd as well. Paid out $1,264.82. And then our final payout, no interest or any of that involved in this. We were paid out from the Neos Gold High Income Fund. This is ticker symbol IAUI, $150.43. So all of that together, we can go ahead and add that up. 150.43, 1264.82, 238.02, 1574.59, and 1201.88. We add that together, and our grand total for the month of May, we made a whopping $4,429.74. So that is definitely our largest amount of dividends any month prior. And as we move forward, our monthly income is just going to continue to go higher and higher as we're, cutting expenses, taking capital, reinvesting it, buying up more shares of our favorite covered call ETFs, and just kind of continuing this whole platform. Now, I have no 8 to 5, so the majority of my income is created from this portfolio. I do have my real estate business, but I have one of the properties listed and pending right now. So when that sale goes through, we're going to be chatting about the details of that sale and how it's going to be affecting this portfolio moving forward. But stay tuned for that. Definitely subscribe and stay tuned. And, and then I also have my miscellaneous income. I have this YouTube channel that just became monetized in May, and I have my Facebook page that just became monetized in May as well. These are two new sources of income. We'll make a separate video going into those, how much I made in the month of May from my newly monetized YouTube channel and Facebook page. So again, stay tuned. That'll be a separate video. So I do have other content that I'm planning on posting. If you guys are interested in anything else, drop it into the comments section. I always like feedback and, the chatter back and forth. Or again, you guys can join the Discord server. It is completely free. So that is going to be it for today's video. I don't want to take too long here. Our main thing here was chatted about dividend income in the month of May. Once again, we made a solid amount. Let me know down in the comment section below if you were paid out any dividends, if you made any stock purchases or anything else, let me know as well. And with that said, if you guys are brand new here to the channel, I would really appreciate it if you go down below, smash that subscribe, smash that thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.